Ready for science? I have a word I want to show you. And this word is called cold-blooded. And Mrs. Tagray tried to draw my thermometers to show you the difference between cold-blooded and warm-blooded. And we haven't gotten a chance to really talk about this a whole lot, but it makes sense when you look at our thermometers. We talked about our thermometers when we talked about the chapter about weather. And remember, a thermometer measures the temperature outside. So when it's warm, the mercury in the thermometer rises, and it shows that the temperature is warmer. Okay, so the side of our thermometer has little markings, and on some thermometers it goes by tens, some of them counts by twos. Ooh, which you know how to do both now. Okay, so now this is not scientifically accurate, so just give me give me a little slack here. But I have our thermometer set for 70 degrees. All right, so look at there, and then look at this thermometer. Is this more or less? It is less. So remember when we were talking in math class about smaller and larger? Okay, we can also use less and more. See how we're comparing them? This one is set for 30 degrees. So if I have 30 degrees and 70 degrees, which one is more? This one, okay? And what controls the temperature, do you know? Yeah, the sun. When the sun comes out, it shines and it warms up. So as the sun warms up, the air temperature, the mercury rises. Now, why does that matter? Well, there are some animals that don't move as much when it's cold outside. Think about it. This winter, did you see flies or mosquitoes or butterflies? No, they were all taking a nap. Did you see any snakes or frogs hopping around your yard? No, they were all taking a nap. They're cold-blooded. So when the temperature drops, their blood gets cold. 32 degrees is when things freeze. So when it's icy, it has to drop to 32 degrees. Anything above 32 degrees, it starts warming up and melting. Okay? So when it's cold outside, there are some animals whose blood, the inside of them, blood, we have blood too. Okay? Animals have blood. So when their blood gets cold, they go to sleep. They don't move. When you get cold, what do? You put a sweater on or socks, or if it's really cold, you put a coat and a hat and gloves on. That's right. Okay, Mrs. Tagray is sitting down in my basement, and my feet get cold down here because it's colder in my basement. So I put socks on to warm up. I don't always bump the heat up. I just put more clothes on. Can animals put clothes on? No, animals don't wear clothes. The only clothes are their God-given clothes. Their fur, their feathers, their skin. All right, so today we're going to talk about reptiles. And reptiles don't have fur, they don't have clothes, they don't have feathers. What do they have? They have scales. Yeah. So did you get your science book? I played that song about the frogs, so you could have some time to run and get your science book. Can you turn to page 68? And you can see some pictures of reptiles. Let's look at it. Okay, look at that word, reptiles. All right, here we go. There are many different kinds of reptiles. Reptiles do not live where it is cold. Now, if they do, they hibernate for the wintertime. They like warm weather. So we do have some reptiles that live here in Michigan. We just don't see them when it's cold outside. Snakes have scales. They slither from place to place. Turtles have shells that protect their bodies like shields. And you all have seen Tomato, the turtle in K4. Oh, look at some turtles live on land and they can go in the water. Look at some turtles live in the ocean. The sea turtle. All right. Ooh, he says big eye. Alligators use their tails to help them swim. Where my parents live in Florida, they have a couple alligators in the ponds in where they live, and so they always watch for them. You don't want to get up close to them. Do you know why? They have big teeth and they can move pretty quick. Oh, here's another kind of a reptile. Lizards. Lizards use their tongues to smell. If a lizard loses his tail, he can grow another one. Isn't that interesting? If you lose your hand or a finger or your toe, will you grow another one? No. The only animal that can do that is a lizard. That's how God made it. Now, aren't you glad that God gave you a nose on your face and that you don't have to smell with your tongue? I'm glad that God made our bodies to work exactly how they work. Now, remember our mystery box? Here is the life cycle of a frog, and today we're going to talk about a frog and the life cycle of a frog. Does it look like a frog right away? No, it has to grow up. So a baby frog, we have the eggs, and then the baby frog gets, do you know what this is called? Yep, it's called a tadpole. It grows up and it gets a little tail and it swims around. Have you ever seen tadpoles in the pond or a river or a creek? And then it gets bigger and grows up some more, and he gets his little feet. And then, so we could say baby, toddler, elementary, your age. And then look at the teenage frog. He has both of his feet. He's gotten stronger and bigger. And then the adult frog, ready to hop around all over. And so frogs live on land and in water. Isn't that interesting? Or I did it backwards. Water and land. They can go back and forth. That's what amphibian means. Look at page 69 of your book. There's all kinds of different amphibians, just like there's all kinds of different reptiles. Amphibians live in water and on land. Their bodies change as they get older. Most amphibians eat insects and worms. I'm glad I'm not an amphibian. Baby frogs are called tadpoles. Frogs have strong legs that help them hop. Toads do not drink water. Water soaks into their bodies through their skin. Salamanders are very quiet. They do not make any noise at all. Have you seen or heard any frogs or toads yet this spring? Now, Friday it was a little cold, but as that temperature warms up, as things change, pretty soon we're going to hear those spring peeper frogs that get really noisy. They're telling us spring is here, and we're waiting for it to get warmer outside, aren't we? Do you remember the word when it's cold outside and the animals don't move around? Cold-blooded. That's right. Reptiles and amphibians are cold-blooded. Mammals and birds, they're warm-blooded. They have fur and feathers to keep them warm. Reptiles and amphibians, when they get cold, they go to sleep.